shrink down my sale bin to something manageable so no one has to dig through tons of stuff. And I just finished that one last night. Yeah, it's still hot. Hey guys, this is Laurel of the Dabbling Hook, and I am once again out in nature. I'm on my deck, and it is 4:31, and I am going to try, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to fail to try to make this quicker because, one, it's 4:31, it's fall, and it's getting dark so much sooner. Cannot stand it. Two, I am getting sick. Started yesterday after my craft fair, after I got home, and it's now kind of stuck right here, and I hate being sick because I am a crabby sick person. I hate it. It just puts me all out of sorts like it does everybody else, but it just the husband says I like to be in control, and this completely I lose control when I'm sick because I can't do anything about it. I can't make it better. Anyway, enough of that. Let's see. So I'm going to try to make this quick, which I'll probably fail at because I'm going to lose my light real quick. So hopefully this doesn't get too dark, but it's even darker inside. So I'm going to talk about whips. Tiny bit of acquisition that just happened today, actually, because I'll talk about it. And let's see what I finished, which is not a whole lot, but I'm also going to touch on the craft fair a little bit again. So what I'm working on, I have been equally in I'm crocheting for the craft fair, but I have been on a knitting kick. Don't worry, crochet's not going to change here. But I found that it's what I'm crocheting now, it's a lot of chunky stuff and it's a lot to carry around. So knitting, I can carry a little bit at a time in a small bag and it moves around easily. So, and you know, I'm not apologizing. This will always be crochet, but I am learning to knit and it's one of the things I do. So, I started, this really isn't a whip anymore because I started this the night before the craft fair, so Friday night. I was just going to make a beanie again with the rest of this. This is the Line Brand jeans yarn, and wasn't paying attention at the craft fair. I was still on the brim, and somehow I dropped a stitch all the way down, and I had already knitted a row around, and I somehow knitted 2 stitches together. I couldn't figure it out, so needless to say, it's no longer a whip. It'll have to be started over. So I also started, this is the Karen Big Cakes. It is really a big cake because I've done quite a bit of things with it and it's still pretty much a full skein. So I started another beanie. This is going to be for my nephew eventually. And I found that I am liking, I don't know if I'm liking, I guess I'm liking the twisted rib. It brings it in a little closer, makes it a little snugger. Oops, need to pull that in. So I'm doing that a lot. It does take a little more time, and I've forgotten a couple of times and just knitted through the regular way, but I like the look of it, and I guess I like it. So that's that, and that's in no rush because that's going to be a Christmas present. What else? I'm working on another, the other version of the big button cowl. It's not going to be called a big button cowl, but I have it in Angelia's bag. This is another one of the bags I purchased from her. So I love the insides of it. I love when you take one color from the overall color scheme of the fabric, and you use that on the inside. And I hadn't really looked in it before, and when I went to grab the bag, I'm like, oh. So I'm working on that. What else am I working on? Oh, and for some reason I am starting all the knit things. I don't know why. I keep thinking in my mind that I'll be able to get it done quick. No, it's not the case. But I bought these at AC Moore from their dollar bin. I love that. I need to stop. I love it, but you always find little treasures in there. You know, sometimes it's regular yarn. A lot of times it's just smaller skein version of the their in-house brand, which is the Studio by Nicole. But this is a studio sample, and it's a, I hope it's focusing, but it's a roving type yarn, and it's a, I would say it's a light super chunky. It's definitely chunky, but I think it would be this one. These don't have the number grades on there, but I would call it a light super chunky. It's just a little bigger than a chunky. But I like the colors, and it's looks like pinks and blues on the outside, but on the inside you get some of this as well. This is peaches, pinks, greens. So I started that because I wasn't feeling well. I decided I'd, instead of working on what I already have, I'd start something new and go to bed, even though I don't do well crocheting in bed or knitting in bed. But I got this far. Twisted rib again. I love that the color it started with was just enough to do basically the cast on. So it's going to be a nice contrast. No plans for it. I just started something else, and right now I have it in this very wrinkled bag because I washed it. I think I bought this at Michael's, and it says, "Yarn is my therapy." Therapy. Yes, it is. So much so that moving on to acquisitions, because I wasn't feeling well, I actually had to go meet someone to do a drop-off delivery from my previous craft fair. I think I'd mentioned that somebody wanted a the cowl, the new version that I had, but she wanted it in a specific color that I only had that colorway in the big button cowl at the time, and she wanted that one. So I had to go find the yarn, and the closest I could find, because I make that second version in Hometown USA, I prefer making it in that. So I had to go find it. This is what's left of what I made her. So this is, let's see if this will work. I hope that focuses. But this is Hometown USA in Aspen Tweed, and I think it's a great fall winter neutral because it has all the flecks in there. But it's that to me boring basic color that everyone likes. I prefer color. So I had to go do that exchange, and there's a Starbucks near me, and that's usually where I meet anyone local who wants to pick up something instead of me mailing it. So after that, I had to run to the grocery store. And then I had to go fill up my gas tank for the coming week for my travel to work. And because I wasn't feeling well, and I was first going to go to Joann's because I got an email that they had the 70% off still going on. I think today's the last day, not sure. Didn't go to Joann's, but I decided to go to Michael's, which is closer. Excuse me. Yeah, the sickness is definitely my throat. So I decided to just go see what's there because I get my gas at BJ's. Wow, I am babbling today. I get my gas at BJ's, and on the way out, it's a mall, outside mall area, and there's a Michael's there, so I went to check it out. And I have seen a few times, not many times, where people have shown Super Saver Chunky, but I have never seen it in the stores before. And Walmart always carries Super Saver. I've never seen a chunky there. I think I may have seen it in other people's videos, but what I've seen is that in a lot of people's videos, especially Crystal of Bag A Day Crochet, her Walmart has a lot more things than any of the ones around here do. Like her Walmart has Scarfy yarn, never in the Walmarts around here. That's only at Michael's and Joann's. So I'd never seen it, so I picked up 2 because my favorite color, yellows, golds, the deep, rich yellows, not like the lemony yellows. And I also like gray, a charcoaly gray, but this is a gray heather. No clue what I'm going to do with it, but it was calling to me, at least to try it out, you know. And then I saw the pattern sheets that they have. There is a simple the rib beanie that you do a flat and seam it. I think it's usually half double crochet either in the back loop or the third loop. So I picked that up and I might try that. But I have not been, oh, by the way, at Michael's, all the yarn, basically, I think 90% of the yarn's on sale, and it's not a good sale. Like the Karen and Pantone yarn, which is usually $7.99, it's on sale for $7. 99-cent savings. And you can't even use the coupon because there's a 30% off coupon, but it's only off regular price items. So, they're losing out. Last time it was Joann's losing out by sending the 60% off coupons and having all the yarns on sale. Anyway, I went on a little rant there. But they have the cupcake, the chunky ones. I have not been tempted by the regular cupcake yarn, but they have some great colors in the chunky ones. So I am, look at that. And again, pink, not me, but this bright, vibrant pink, I love. And the pink with the purple somehow is just drawing me. And then of course it's got the gold. Yeah, it was just calling to me. And this is on the regular cupcake, they had this almost fake looking pom-pom on there, which I didn't care for. But then they have this more fuzzy one, which is pretty nice. So no clue what I'm going to do with it yet, but who knows? But oh, and these are normally $4.99 and they're on sale for $4. So basically they're taking $1. A lot of the yarns, they're taking $1 off for the sale this week. Nope, not tempted really. But I just wanted to try this color. That's why I got that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten anything. I got to use the 30% off of these. And these are $3.49, I believe. And it took like $1. One of them it took $1.04. The other took $1.05 off. So basically ended up paying regular price. And the chunky is number 5. Chunky calls for 8mm hook. I would not use an 8mm on there. That's too big, I think, unless you want something really loose. It calls for a K, a 6.5 for needles, which on a hook I'd probably do a K, a J or a K on this, to be honest. Yardage. 5 ounces, 141 grams, 173 yards, 158 meters. So I love the color. Who knows? And it's not as harsh as the usual Red Heart. And the other thing I'm working on is a total squirrel moment. I think it was Setta's Place's Facebook group. Kim of Pettis Kim. Oh wow, Pettis Kim. Oh my God, what is her YouTube channel's name? The Nomad, Crochet Nomad. So on the Facebook group page, she started a wreath, and I'm like, oh, I had just bought one like a few days before at the Dollar Tree, and hers was also in orange. I'm like, oh, okay. So I decided to copy her and do one. This is as far as I've gotten. And for orange yarn that I was using, I had a bit of Vanna's Choice, and I thought I would have enough. This is a little stretched so you can see the gaps, because that's basically all. I had just enough to sew it together that I had of the Vanna's Choice. I think this is the Rust colorway. I do not recall. The band has long since been gone. And then these are just little clip-on pumpkins from the Dollar Tree that I've just clipped it on just to see what it would look like. Most likely I am going to take the clips off and hot glue it to there. There are some leaves, fall leaves. I'll put the link for them below. They're on Ravelry. I am going to make those to put on here as well. I might make different leaves. I think Kim's doing the same thing too. The Crafty Nomad, she's doing different leaves to put on there. So I might make a few orange flowers to put on as well. I wonder if I still have my bin. I do have my bin of flowers, but I don't know if I have any orange in there. So, whole almost 15 minutes of me chatting and whips. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Not boding well. Okay, acquisitions. So, actually, that was acquisitions. I showed the red heart. And the other thing that I did, I bought some pins. Now, when I posted this on Instagram, I titled it Confession. I'm not into the pin game, really. It doesn't really, no disparagement to the pin makers out there. Some of them are gorgeous, but it's just, I had no desire to, like, you know, amass pins and find a bag and put them on. But I bought one and then I bought another. The first one I bought is more because of representation, because it's something you don't see. But Gigi of Gigi Made It has a pin out there that you can say kind of looks like me. Not really with the afro, but I'd say more my sister because she does the afro. But look at that. Is it showing up? So this is her logo. Someone drew this as her logo. So she's had it. She has t-shirts and bags and mugs and stuff made of the logo, but she made a pin and it is like, it has sold out. Like, I caught it on the third batch of her putting it out there. And I actually sent a picture of this to my sister and she goes, what, where? So I sent a message to Gigi asking if there would be a third batch. I haven't heard back yet, or fourth batch, I should say. But look at that. Love it. I don't have a bag, a proper bag yet to put it on. I may try to make one, but then who am I kidding? I have like 3 bags in process that I still haven't made yet. So this is, and it's got this back on it. So this is Gigi's pin. And if you guys don't know Gigi, she is known as the orange queen all around, especially Instagram. When I tell you she loves orange, she loves orange. I mean, nails, lipstick, and it looks great on her too. So it's not like something garish. Her yarns are orange, and I've almost a couple of times gone and purchased yarns that she's been using that's just, it grabs you. It's just so gorgeous, but I've controlled myself. So that's hers. And the other one I did to support, you know, our crochet community was from do we know who this is? Our very own Crochet Luna. Actually, the one that I wanted was this. I hope it comes out. It says, not a yarn snob. That's the one I wanted. So what the lady did, naughty, I opened it. I'm like, wow, that's a big packet for one pin. She sent me some more. Look at that. It says, equal opportunity yarn lover, heck yeah. Happiness is crochet, heck yeah. And another bigger pin that says, not a yarn snob. So I have to decide, you know, yellow's my favorite color. So I have to decide if I'll keep that, and I may give out the others. Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh my God. I just noticed after having this for like a week. There's a little stitch marker in here with an L. Perfect. L for Laurel. Oh, thank you, Claudia. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't even notice this until now. Too awesome. So she also sent me another one. Oh, the other thing that she included was a little tea bag, which I haven't used yet. Sweet and spicy, which sounds right up my alley. I haven't tasted it yet. Natural dragon fruit notes cuddle up with chamomile, which is actually, it's probably cold now, what I'm drinking. Sidebar. I'm pretty sure I saw this tea on Blue Cherub's video. I'm pretty sure it was her. I don't remember. But I basically ran right to Amazon and bought it after that. and it comes from England because I couldn't find anywhere in the US that sold it. But it was Twinings turmeric, and it's turmeric. And I don't know if you could see that, but the cord just gets all yellow. It's a gorgeous color. Ooh, yeah, look at that. And all I think is, oh, that would look awesome as a yarn color. And then I'm wondering, I wonder if I could dye yarn with this. Okay, I'm back now. So it's turmeric, orange, and star anise. And you could definitely get a hint of the other two flavors, but the turmeric, it definitely comes in. I wondered if it would be too overpowering, but all the three mix together really well. Yum. And it's yellow and yellow and yellow, and it's gorgeous. So I'm hoping all that would help my throat and keep me from getting sick. So as I was saying, she sent me an extra to give away. So perfect timing, and it actually matches the giveaway that will be announced tomorrow. So you guys have until tonight, the rest of today, and it's 4:51 today, the 23rd of September. So this closes at midnight, and I will do drawing and have a video out tomorrow for this. But I will show again, the one lucky winner will get the one skein, 492 yards of the DK weight yarn from AC Moore, along with Angelia's bag, and they all go together very nicely. And now look, the color of the pin that she sent. Oh, too much glare. There you go. Perfect. Even the tea bag goes with it too. So there you go. Still sealed. So thank you, Claudia. I really, really appreciate that. You went above and beyond. So I thank you, and I'm sure the winner will thank you as well. So that's that for, oh, and I ripped your card accidentally when I was opening it. Yikes. Okay. Oh, by the way, Claudia just did a huge, I think restock. I'm pretty sure it restocked of pins on her Etsy site. I will put the link below. She did post a whole bunch of them a couple of days ago, or a day ago. Yeah, my brain's fogged. On Instagram, so she will have new pins, a whole different bunch, fall, yay, winter, spring, a whole bunch of pins that she's putting up on her Etsy site. So go check her out. So that's it. Ooh, nope. I'm all over the place today. So the other thing, finished objects. Last time I had shown that the jeans yarn, I had pretty much finished the beanie that I was knitting. I just didn't, when I had brought it with me upstairs last time, I didn't bring scissors or needles, so I couldn't finish it off. I did, so here it is. I absolutely love how it came out. Even my, I did magic loop, and my my seam isn't too bad this time. And I can see it, but I think anyone who is not a knitter or crocheter would not really notice it. So I love how it came out. It's like perfect. And I'm pretty sure he'll be able to get a year's use out of it, or at least this winter. And it can be rolled up because it's pretty long. I'm very pleased, very pleased. That's why I wanted to use the rest of it to see how far it would go, but I messed that up. The other thing is, for my craft fairs, I use the PayPal system, and I had the old one, and I went to plug it in the night before, and I got a message that it was, an error was detected. Uh-oh. Thought I felt a drop. Man. So I called them, and yeah, they couldn't get it to me, obviously, overnight. There's no way, even if they did overnight it, because I had to leave early in the morning. So they sent me a new one, and this is it. And it's got a little, I'm pretty sure it's adhesive. So if you were an actual, mortar store, you can stick it on something to always have there. But it came this way, and I wanted to make something to protect it, so in case it might drop or bump. So I made a little case for it. So fits right in perfectly. Put a little button, and this is how I carry it within another, within my apron or a little bag that I have. So in case it gets bumped, there's some protection to that. So that's that. And my only other finished object, besides the cowl that I had to drop off, and I will have hopefully put a picture in, is Frankie. So this is part of the wow, I just completely went blank. This is part of the Underground Crafter along with Umbaka Crochet. They are running the Halloween crochet along, and last time I showed the cat. Wow, it's getting dark. But this time they had oh, I also forgot the other one too. I'll have to stop and go get it. They put out Frankenstein, and this is by Snap and Stitch. I'll put a link down below. So this is Frankie. It's a ragdoll Frankenstein. Her scar was done this way, and the reason it has it on the back is because I initially sewed all the facial stuff on the back, not realizing until I'm like, oh, I'm done, and then I looked and my single crochet was facing the wrong way. So take it all out, and I decided to leave the scar on the back. And then I looked up Frankenstein, and his scar is actually going vertically, so I did that instead. And then he has his little sideways. Yep, and I made the eye that she did, I made a little bigger than hers here. And this yarn, oh, you can see right here, perfect color. Hers is actually brown here. This is the purple and black held together, and the purple is an Isaac Mizrahi, I think it's called the Broadway line. And it has these little bits. It's not even a string, these little bits of glitter through it. And I've had that yarn there for at least going on 2 years. So I finally decided to use it instead with the black, which is this green, which is avocado, and the black, it's Knit Picks Brava. This is the bulky. Up here I held Brava Sport and Worsted together, and then the Sport and the Isaac Mizrahi together. So this is Frankie with a accidental scar on the back. Yep. And there is another one so this was last week's pattern I never got to, and the patterns come out every Wednesday, and this week's was a little ghost garland. So let me pause. Okay, so the ghost garland this time, and I'll put the links below. Isn't that cute? So the two on the ends were supposed to have the scallopy edge, and I did it without, I'm like, oh, it's just a granny square, so I did it. And then the one in the middle, I stopped a row short and then add the scallop from the pattern. So it is too cute. And I finished it late at night, so I haven't gotten a proper picture of it yet other than this. So those are my finished objects. And this is just hanging in the doorway to my office / yarn room. Oh, that is so cool. Sorry, this weird craft of some sort. Wish I could have taken a picture of that. There's a small airport near me, not that close to near me, but in the town about 10 minutes away, and people are always doing, a lot of people do lessons there, but that was a different craft. It sounded like a helicopter, but it's just some, anyway. So that is everything I have done. Pardon me. Craft fair. The craft fair went well. It was my second year doing it. It's actually with the Humane Society that puts it on. And last year when I did it, it was wet in the morning because it had rained overnight, and it threatened to rain again that day, but it didn't. but it was wet and it was hot. And as the day went on, the sun came out, so it was drying everything, and oh my God, the humidity was awful. It was really, really hot. But it still went well, and I was afraid, you know, I have yarn, no one's going to want to buy anything yarn related when it's so hot, but it went very well. And my cowls, the previous version I had of it, sold really well there. And I'd said that last week at the craft fair from last week, where I had sold out of cowls before, they didn't sell. I didn't sell one. I think I had sold one big button cowl, but nothing else. For this one, I actually sold 6 of my cowls. And this is a regular plane now, and I don't know how loud it's sounding. It's very loud here, so I'm not sure how loud it's coming across. Okay. So, so I did well with the cowls there. What else? I didn't sell any big button ones. A few people did look at them, but they were my regular cowls, the version that's being tested right now, and hoping to come out later this week. Those sold very well. And last week, a lot of my toys sold, but for most of the day, I was having nothing. I mean, there weren't that many kids to begin with. Surprisingly, if it was a dog-related fair to support the Humane Society, you figured there would be a lot of kids, but through most of it, there weren't that many kids there. It was more adults, more older people, actually. But then the kids did come. The parents interfered again. I shouldn't say they interfered because the other one's paying, but so that didn't, you know, it was very slow to start. I ended up selling 1, 2, 3. I think I sold 2 octopuses and 2 jellyfish. I had a lot of big kids look at all the toys, and a group of them were just ooh and ahhing, but I didn't have that many sales of the toys, let's just say, this time around. But all in all, it went well. I made about the same as I did at last week's fair, which I was grateful for. I did sell a shawl, the big Sky Shawl, one of those. I sold. I was very happy about that, because people still, when they see shawls, they have that grandma mentality. So I make sure if people are looking at it, or even if they want to try it on, I make sure to show them how to use it bandana style. And I always tell them the modern kids wear it this way, just so they have alternatives. But the woman who bought it was like a woman after my own heart. She was, the office is cold and she wanted something to cover her, but she was very fair, and she said a lot of colors don't look good on her. So the one she bought was it was done in Big Twist premium yarn, which they've discontinued. So it worked well for her. So I was very happy with that. I sold 3 of my footbridge beanies, so I need to make a few more to restock. I almost sold one of my Algonquin hats, excuse me, but the little kid was just, the mom wanted to buy it, but the kid was just, he wanted a toy. She wanted to buy him a hat, and he was just not having it, so that didn't go anywhere. And then I sold, actually the last Algonquin hat I sold, I was literally packing up, and this girl came. 2 people came towards the end of the fair. I'm like, who comes at 4 o'clock and think the fair is still going to go on? But as I was packing, I'm like, go ahead, just keep looking, because somebody always, if they come that late and they're roaming through, they most likely will buy. I'm like, oh, let me know if you want to see anything. And she tried on a few hats, and she came back to the Algonquin, I mean the footbridge one, and she has a lot of hair, and so she tried it on. It was a little loose on her, but she kept coming back to it. I'm like, you can always use a bobby pin to hold it in place, and she loved the color, and I think it was the spice colorway of the Thick and Quick, so that worked out well, and she was very happy. And I also told her where I was going to be next week, so she might actually show up. And the other woman who came late, she was disappointed because just about everyone had packed up, and I told her where the next fair was going to be, and I was going to be there, so hopefully they show up and they both know where that is. So yeah, all in all, it was good. The people next to me were selling something I'd never seen before. The mom gets beach rocks. They gets polished, I guess, in coated with urethane or whatever it is to make them shine. But then she drills through the rocks and she makes lamps out of them. I wish I'd gotten a picture. I didn't. But they were a real conversation starter. They had a lot of people there, but they were very interested in the toys. They came over maybe like 5 or 6 times, and they're the ones who bought one of the octopuses and the 2 jellyfishes. Actually, the grandfather bought it for the little niece that was there, and the little niece was just not having it. She was in a mood. The grandfather bought the jellyfish and handed it to her, and she pushed it away, and she actually knocked it out of his hand at one point. She was not having a good day. And then 2 of the aunts came back at different times and each bought a jellyfish for her. So that was cool. I forget what else sold on the toys. I think there was one other thing. So not a lot of the toys sold as they normally do. And I may actually, a fair that I am doing in December 1st, the coordinator actually came to this fair that I was yesterday. She has 10 spots open for her fair, so she was looking to rally people, find unique vendors to fill up the spots. And she actually stopped by. She recognized my stuff and she stopped by, and I had a big giraffe hanging, and she said she collects giraffes and she is going to commission me to make one for her in her color. So that's pretty awesome. And it's a pretty big giraffe that I sell, I think, for like 45 bucks. So yeah, that was the craft fair. Not bad. Actually, a couple of people asked about craft fair and pricing. And I would say I don't want to say I'm not the person to ask, but I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, sorry, I'm leaning because I'm starting to feel fatigue. I am not an expert or, let me start over. I'll tell you what I do, but it doesn't really follow the advice that's out there, which I should, but I know that the craft fairs I do around here, if I were to follow that, they would not sell. So I try to be reasonable. One of the things I don't do anymore is change my prices. I say that because the very first craft fair that I attended, it was in a senior citizen center. Now I thought, should I? But it was my first one. The table price was like 25 bucks. It was one either 6 or 8 foot table. Pretty sure it was a 6 foot table. And I had a lot of stuff, but not nearly as much as I have now. And I walk in, I set up my table, I look up, and the woman directly in front of me had a gazillion hats. And they were all big sign, $5 a hat. And I'm like, I might as well go home, because my hats were, maybe I had a baby hat at the time that was $5, but they were $10 and up at the time. And her hats were all made out of Red Heart Super Saver. Now, no disparagement to Red Heart Super Saver. I use Red Heart Super Saver. I just tend not to use it for hats and wearables. It makes me itchy. And back then, it was not as soft. There are some colors that are really soft and some that's still not. But I don't use it for hats. And she had, I think what they're called pony beads in her hats too, but they were all $5. I mean, the time it took to do all that, $5 really? That's what she sold it for. Turns out last year when I did a fair, I happened to recognize her table at that fair, and I walked up and I'm like, oh my God, you guys were the first ones that when I did my first fair. Anyway, so when I set up, I immediately went to change my price so that, if anyone saw $5, they're not going to buy my hats for $10, $15. I, to this day, regret doing that. So what I do, I go on Etsy and I look up hats or look up even toys and stuff to see what people are doing, and I look at a wide range and I look at the quality. Yes, I will be critical. You can look at it and said, you can see where things weren't stitched properly or it's crooked or whatever, and for the prices people are paying, I'm like, I wouldn't pay for it. You need to have a certain standard of what your items would look like. But I look at a wide range of prices and see what people are selling them for, and if any of them gel with what I think that they should be sold for. And I go I either stick to what I think it is, or, you know, I go somewhere in that range. So if it's an item that I really am not sure how to price, that's what I do. If I think it's worth X amount, and I do look at, if you make something out of Thick and Quick, and the regular Thick and Quicks are $8, $7.99, at least in my area, and you need 4 skeins, it's $32. And someone's going to want to pay $20 for that item. Not happening. So you got to think about that. If you're spending $32 on just the yarn to make that item, you need to make a profit off that. You can't just turn around and sell it for $32. You're at a wash. It's as if the item never made. Now, where's all your time gone? The tags you had to put on, the tags you had to buy to put it on. If you're shipping it, all of that, you got to put that into and think, all right, my $32, what do I want to make on top of that? That's kind of where I go from there. I will say it again, I don't change my prices. I may decide if somebody's buying something at my craft fair or multiple things, I may give them a little bit of a discount. Or there's one person, a rep in my town, at my second or third craft fair, she was there, and I had a big cowl, my squish cowl on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. I made that, and the reason that came about, I had 2 skeins of this blue color. It's almost a cornflower blue color, Thick and Quick, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I put those 2 strands together, and I just made the cowl, and that's how it came about. And she came, her posters that are about during election time, it was very similar to that color, and she was just drawn to it. She bought it, and every year since then, she comes to a craft fair where I am, and she comes with her mom, which is funny. Her mom, she says, last week she came and she had to go do something, so she said she'll be back with her mom of the small head, because her mom's head is tiny. It's a kid size. One of the Algonquin beanies that I bought, the child size that I made, it fits her mom's head perfectly, and it's literally, that's the one that little kid tried on who wanted the toy that the mom wanted to buy him a hat. It fit her perfectly. So but every craft fair, she comes to at least one of them, and she plunks down money. She doesn't even think about it, and she buys a few items. So those are the people that I give discounts to. You know, if somebody's extremely nice and respectful and respect the craft, and, you know, they're spending, I may do something. I may or may not, I don't always. But I stick to my prices because it's a lot of work. Just like doing this video is a lot of work. Recording, you're sitting here, you're showing things, but then, oh my God, the editing of the video, if you need to add pictures or links or this or that, it takes me twice as long as it takes to record this video than to edit it, not to mention uploading and then having it posted and all that. So I hope that's at least helpful. Use Etsy as a resource. See what the items that you're trying to sell, what they're going for on Etsy. If you're selling in person at craft fairs, know your area. I've seen things like little toys that I would make, that I would sell for maybe like $10, $15. I've seen it on Etsy for like 30, 40 bucks. That would never sell around here. I mean, if somebody bought it, it would have to be that special person who respects the handmade value, but those are few and far between. So you have to know the area that you live in. If you happen to do a craft fair that's in a more well-off area, yeah, they may pay the extra, but if you do crafts regularly in your area, you got to know that the people won't buy that. One of the things I've stopped doing any craft fairs that are labeled craft fair / flea markets. Out of the question. Those are people who are coming for not just a bargain, but like a steal. And you're not going to do any good there. You're just going to get bypassed. Those are the people who definitely turn their nose up at your things. So I hope that helps. I value it as what I think. Sometimes what I think I would pay for it, and then I remember what I have to go through because I am a bargain hunter, self-admitted to the core. But I do realize now that I'm making and selling that the time and effort and the material that goes into it, you have to think about that. You know, my audience isn't the audience that would pay like 60 bucks for a cowl, and I've seen cowls on Etsy for 60 bucks. they just won't. But if I put near 60 bucks of money into a cowl, yes, I will be pricing it for more than that. But 9 times out of 10, that'll be for me because I know no one will buy it around here. Or there are certain people at work who buy my items who realize what it is. I still have to remember to take a picture of the desk at work that she has. She used to buy every time I made an item and I showed it, she would buy it. I think the most she paid, I made a $60 Amaneko cat because I used Hometown USA, not Hometown, Homespun USA. That's Claudia's Hellspun yarn, which I don't mind using. You just have to have a little patience. But she bought that and she didn't blink at buying that. But you have to know your audience and who's going to buy and where you're selling and so on and so forth. So I'm repeating myself. So on that note, I am going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for engaging in all the questions and comments. And this is the final hours to enter the giveaway. So go to the previous video to do that, not on this one. And I will talk to you guys later and go reheat my tea, which is definitely tepid right now. That is all. Thank you for watching. Bye.